Welcome to our deep dive, into AI. Today we're focusing on a rivalry that's been in the news a lot lately, Elon Musk versus OpenAI.
Yeah, it's a rivalry with big names, advanced tech, and tons of money at stake. What makes it really interesting, though, is what it tells us about the future of AI.
We're going through articles, reports, and analyses to figure out what started this whole thing, where it might be going, and what it all means for artificial intelligence and how it affects all of us.
It's a story that starts with big goals, a shared hope that AI could be a force for good. But like a lot of big plans, going from an idea to reality is rarely easy.
Let's go back to 2015, the year OpenAI was founded. It wasn't your typical startup.
Right, it was a nonprofit started by some big names in tech, like Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and top AI researchers.
Their mission was simple but ambitious: to ensure that artificial general intelligence, or AGI, benefits everyone.
And a big part of that mission was a growing concern at the time, a fear that AI could become too powerful, controlled by just a few companies or governments.
Musk was really vocal about this, warning that AI could be a threat to humanity if it wasn't developed responsibly.
He wasn't just donating money, he was actively involved, shaping OpenAI's direction, even giving millions to get it started.
But then, just 3 years later, in 2018, Musk left OpenAI. And he didn't leave quietly. He's been very public about his issues with where OpenAI was heading, especially their change from a nonprofit to a for-profit.
That change was a huge turning point for OpenAI, and it's at the core of Musk's criticism.
He says this move went against their original mission, changing them from a champion of open and accessible AI into what he calls a closed-source, maximum-profit company controlled by corporations.
And to be fair to Musk, that change did happen around the same time as a massive investment from Microsoft, which solidified OpenAI's position as a major player in commercial AI.
Now, some might say that Musk is just bitter because he lost control.
But it's important to look past the personalities and consider the implications of this structural shift.
Because this conflict really highlights a tension in AI development: the pursuit of profit versus the pursuit of public good.
On one hand, you have the argument that a free market, with its focus on innovation and competition, is the best way to make AI better.
And OpenAI, with Microsoft's backing, has certainly made big progress developing powerful systems like ChatGPT, the chatbot that's everywhere.
Yeah. But on the other hand, you have this worry that a purely profit-driven approach to AI could create too much power in the hands of a few, where only a select group benefits from AI's advances, while everyone else deals with the potential risks and downsides.
And that's where Musk's argument gets interesting. He says that OpenAI, by chasing commercial success, has moved away from its commitment to openness, maybe even risking the principles that were meant to ensure AI benefits everyone.
And this isn't just a theoretical debate, it has real consequences for how AI is developed, used, and regulated.
What could happen next? There's been lots of talk about Musk's next move, with rumors he might try to take back control of OpenAI.
Right, and a dramatic comeback would be classic Elon Musk.
Exactly. Let's look at those rumors and see where this rivalry might go.
One option, although tough, is that Musk buys back OpenAI.
But wouldn't that be risky and expensive, even for someone as rich as him? We're talking about a company worth over $100 billion, a company deeply connected to Microsoft, one of the biggest tech giants out there.
It would be a huge challenge, no doubt, but there's another, maybe more strategic option, a legal challenge.
Okay, now this is getting interesting. Tell me more about the legal angle.
Musk could sue OpenAI, arguing that their switch to for-profit violates their original nonprofit status. He could say they've abandoned their founding principles, and as a co-founder, he can intervene.
So it'd be a battle for OpenAI's very identity, a legal fight over its mission and purpose.
Exactly. And this wouldn't just be a fight between companies, it would affect the entire AI industry. It could set precedents for how AI companies are structured, governed, and held accountable.
It would force courts to deal with some fundamental questions: the balance between profit and public good, corporate governance in a fast-changing tech world, and maybe most importantly, what it really means for AI to benefit humanity.
And those are tough questions to answer, but they're questions we have to face as AI technology keeps advancing so quickly.
Now, there's a third possibility, maybe the most intriguing one. Musk could just ignore OpenAI and build his own rival AI company.
That would be a typical Musk move, disrupt an industry he thinks is going in the wrong direction by creating his own alternative. And he's already started doing that with xAI, his own AI initiative.
Right, and don't forget about Grok, xAI's chatbot, which is already part of X, formerly known as Twitter. Grok has been in the news because of its different approach to AI, and being part of X gives it access to a massive amount of users.
So instead of trying to get OpenAI back, Musk could build a competitor that embodies his vision of open, accessible, and beneficial AI.
It'd be David versus Goliath, but a battle that Musk, with his history of exceeding expectations, might enjoy.
It would definitely be a story to watch.
So we have three scenarios: a high-stakes acquisition, a legal battle, or a new rival. Each path is full of challenges and unknowns, but one thing's certain. What happens between Musk and OpenAI will have a big impact on the AI world.
It's a story that's not over yet. As we keep track of it, we need to remember the bigger picture, the global implications of this fight for AI dominance.
So we were just discussing those three scenarios: buying it back, going to court, or starting a new company. Each one sounds like it could be in a movie about Silicon Valley.
Right. The stakes are really high, and the people involved are, well, they're larger than life. But behind all the drama, this conflict raises some fundamental questions about what AI is and what its place in society should be.
You talked about a global AI race before. It's easy to get caught up in the Musk OpenAI story, but where does their fight fit into that bigger picture?
The whole Musk OpenAI thing is like a smaller version of something much bigger happening around the world. Countries like the US and China are putting huge money into AI research and development because they know AI could completely change industries, economies, even the balance of power.
It sounds like the space race, but instead of rockets and satellites, it's all about algorithms and processing power.
That's a good way to put it. And just like the space race, there's this feeling of urgency and competition. Everyone wants to be leading this tech revolution.
What about China? Where do they fit in? They've been doing a lot with AI, right?
Absolutely. China's made AI a national priority, investing heavily in research development and putting it into action. They've already made amazing progress in things like facial recognition, surveillance technology, even using AI for military purposes.
That's interesting. If different countries are working on AI with different goals and values, how does that affect the global landscape?
That's a really important question and a tough one to answer. AI isn't being developed in a bubble. It's shaped by the politics, economics, and social situations of the countries where it's being made.
So we're not just talking about a race for better technology. We're talking about different values clashing.
Yeah.
Maybe even different visions of the future competing with each other.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. It makes us think about some big questions about AI in society. Who decides how AI is developed and used? What ethical things do we need to think about? And how do we make sure AI benefits all of humanity, not just a few people?
Those are some heavy questions, and we're not going to answer them easily. But the fight between Musk and OpenAI, with its focus on open versus closed systems, profit versus public good, is making us face these issues head on.
It reminds us that AI isn't just some neutral tool. It's powerful, and it can be used for good or bad. And the decisions we make today about how we develop and manage AI will have a huge impact on the future.
Okay, so we talked about the global AI race and the values involved. But let's bring it back down to earth a bit. How might this rivalry and all the trends in AI development affect the everyday person?
That's a great question, because AI isn't just about fancy new tech. It's about how that tech will change our lives, our jobs, and how we interact with the world.
I think a lot of people are excited about how AI can make life easier, more efficient, and more fun. But there's also worry about the downsides, like losing jobs and the ethical implications of algorithms getting more powerful.
It's good to have both those feelings. It's important to be hopeful about the possibilities, but also cautious about the potential problems.
Let's break it down. How is AI already changing our lives, and how might those changes look in the future?
You probably use AI every day without even knowing it. When you search online, look at social media, or get recommendations from a streaming service, AI is running in the background looking at your data and customizing your experience.
It's like having a personal assistant, but a digital one.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And as AI gets smarter, those personalized experiences will become even more sophisticated and seamless. Imagine your phone knowing what you need before you ask, your car driving itself, and your doctor diagnosing you before you even feel sick.
That sounds like science fiction. But it also makes me think about privacy and control. If AI is always collecting data about what we like, what we do, and even our health, who has access to that and how are they using it?
Those are really important questions, and they're central to the debate about ethical AI. As AI becomes a bigger part of our lives, we need safeguards to protect our privacy and make sure our data isn't used against us.
So we need a balance between the convenience AI can offer and protecting our rights and freedoms.
Exactly. Finding that balance isn't easy. There's no simple solution. It needs a thoughtful approach that involves people from all parts of society, politicians, tech experts, ethicists, and regular people.
So it's not just about the code, it's about the values we build into that code, the conversations we have about how we want AI to shape our world.
That's exactly right. The future of AI isn't something that'll be decided in a lab or a company meeting. It's something we'll all shape together with our choices, our demands, and how much we're willing to talk about these important issues.
It's exciting and a little scary at the same time. It's clear that the fight between Musk and OpenAI, with its focus on open versus closed systems and profit versus public good, has made these issues much more visible.
And that's a good thing. It reminds us that AI isn't just about technology, it's also a social and ethical issue. The choices we make now will have a huge impact on the future of humanity.
It feels like we've been talking about this AI arms race and its potential impact on everything from our privacy to the global balance of power for a while now. It's definitely a lot to take in.
It is, yeah. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by just how big and complicated it all is.
Definitely. So to wrap up our deep dive, I want to shift gears a little bit and focus on something more concrete. Let's talk about what it all means for the average person. You mentioned earlier that we're already using AI every day, often without realizing it. Can you give us some specific examples of how AI is already shaping our lives?
Sure. Think about the last time you bought something online. Those recommendations you saw, the products they suggested to you, that's AI working behind the scenes. It analyzes your past purchases and what you looked at online to predict what you might want.
So it's not just about futuristic things like self-driving cars and robots. AI is already part of our digital lives.
Exactly, and it's only going to become more common in the coming years. Take healthcare, for example. AI is already being used to analyze medical images, diagnose diseases, and even create personalized treatment plans. This could totally change how we approach healthcare, making it more accurate, efficient, and accessible.
That sounds amazing. But I imagine there are also worries about the potential downsides of AI in healthcare. Things like algorithmic bias, or maybe AI being used in ways that make existing health inequalities worse.
Those are valid concerns, and they highlight how important ethical considerations are in AI development. We need to make sure that AI systems are designed and used in a way that is fair, benefits everyone, and doesn't leave anyone behind.
It seems like it's not just about the technology. It's about the values we build into the technology and the safeguards we put in place to prevent it from being misused.
Exactly. And this is true for every area where AI is being used: education, finance, transportation, criminal justice. We have to think about the potential impact of AI on individuals and communities and make sure it's used in a way that aligns with our values.
Sounds like there's a lot of work to do, both in terms of developing the technology and figuring out the ethical and social frameworks that will guide its use.
There is, but I'm optimistic that we can do it. The fact that we're having these conversations now, raising awareness about the potential benefits and risks of AI, are crucial steps in the right direction.
So what can regular people do to make a difference in all of this? Is it all up to the big tech companies and governments to figure out?
Not at all. Everyone has a role to play. We can start by learning about AI, understanding how it works, and how it might affect our lives. We can support groups and initiatives that are promoting ethical AI, and we can hold our elected officials accountable, demanding policies that protect our rights in the age of AI.
It sounds like it's not just about being passive users of technology, but active participants in shaping its future.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't set in stone. We're all creating it together. And by talking about these issues, demanding transparency, and advocating for a future where AI benefits everyone, we can help ensure that this powerful technology is used for good.
That's a really powerful thought to end on. The future of AI is in our hands. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Elon Musk, OpenAI, and the battle that's shaping the future of artificial intelligence.
It was great to be here.